You know, I think anyone that knows me or anyone that has saw me speak over the last 10 years or so would know that this is one of the things I'm very passionate about, is that whole impact of the aging demographics. And you know, for the first time, we've actually surpassed the amount of senior citizens we have in Canada versus the amount of children. So, you know, why is it relevant and why is it getting more important now? And I think even from my own perspective, we're getting more and more clients all the time calling us, asking us to talk about, you know, the impact of the aging demographics. And I think there's three areas that it really will have a serious impact. And the first one, and probably one of the more obvious ones that people are starting to feel now, and that's going to be healthcare. Healthcare is heading for the perfect storm. You know, we have a healthcare environment where the majority of people, when they need their healthcare, is in their more senior years. In fact, most healthcare dollars are spent on your last year and a half of your life. So we have this aging population that will have a great need for healthcare. But if we look on the heels of that, we have very few people in the workforce that will be able to support those. In fact, at the rate that we're going right now, we have about 8 Canadians supporting everyone that's retired. And if we were to go out to about 2040, statistically we're going to have about two Canadians supporting everyone retired. So that's obviously not going to work, and it's going to create some serious problems as we head into the worst. So head into the future. That's one of the first things. The second thing is the impact it's going to have on housing, and we're already starting to see where we're getting almost condominium jungles happening in the cities now. As we see the baby boomers start to sell off their homes and move into smaller footprints and more closer to the healthcare providers and the you know, areas that they can walk and they can go to the market and those types of things. It's creating another interesting phenomena, and that is the younger generations that are coming up behind the baby boomers are actually not going to be interested in buying the baby boomers' big house that they had. So baby boomers were kind of famous for having their 5 and 6 bedroom homes and, you know, the double car garage. But younger population, as they come up, you know, the barrier to enter that type of a house will be prohibitive for many of them. But in a lot of cases, they're not going to be interested. They're not going to be interested in the large carbon footprint, the big house. They're going to be more interested in spending time with their children and travel and experience and so on. But I think the one that's going to be the biggest challenge that will face us in the future is the employment challenge. And it's for a lot of reasons. One is the biggest competition in the future is going to be for human resources. As we see more of the baby boomers head off into their retirement, it's going to leave a skilled shortage initially in the workplace and then an overall shortage in the workplace. So all of our growth will have to come from immigration in the future, because we just will not produce enough children in our shrinking population to be able to fuel the economy as we start to need more employees. However, the biggest challenge is going to be, how do we manage what's in the workforce? So baby boomers had the ease of managing people that kind of look like them and were the same age and had the same values and interests. And now we're going to, you know, have managers that will show up for work, and, you know, the manager might be a 40-year-old manager, and at one point through the day they're going to have an 18-year-old report to them, and at another point they're going to have a 65-year-old report to them. And the 18-year-old may be have their roots here in Canada, and the 65-year-old may come from West Africa. So we're going to have a very diverse workplace. You know, obviously the two genders in the workplace. We actually have more women in the workplace now in Canada than men, and a very diverse workplace from an age perspective. You know, people often will ask me, well, what is the answer? Like, how do we work through that? And I believe the key is to learn to engage people. And you want to engage people across their age, their gender, and their culture. And, you know, I think when we hear the word engagement a lot, and, you know, if you kind of look at a simplified definition of engagement, it means inclusion and co-creation, that we leverage the strengths of the individuals that work for us and help them achieve the goals of the organizations that they work for. But I think when we talk the term engagement, it goes beyond the employees. It goes to your clients, people in the community, suppliers that you may deal with. So I think, you know, one of the keys as we head into the future, and I think the things that can help us succeed the most, is if we learn to engage people better.